the scholarship program, we have scholarship programs for children with deafness. We have community work, awareness work. Like September is the month for deaf awareness. So this month we're going to be having lots of activities around deaf awareness, deaf education, and also we have our awareness work monthly, yearly actually. So where we speak on the need to get children with deafness educated. We equally provide confident coaching. Confident coaching is where we speak with children independently. We try to motivate them that they could do better even when having a disability. A disability is not a barrier for greatness. So we have youth development. Youth development is the aspect of our organization where we train people with different skills. So for a while now, we're having different vocational skills, and then we are having skills in STEM. So we've been having IT trainings for kids and youths, especially. We have been looking at the adult part of deaf kids. So we have having IT trainings for them, and then we are having other vocational training for them. Then we have the On My Self-Esteem series. The On My Self-Esteem series is a series whereby people with disability that they have achieved a lot in their life, educationally or business-wise, come out to talk about their story. They tell us what they did differently, how they were able to grow beyond their disability, how they were able to seek life and do better with themselves, even while having a disability. So we have, we have the Need for Education campaign. The educational campaign is designed to educate parents, caregivers, communities on the importance of education of their children. In 2020, we have visited 3 communities and 5 schools to raise awareness talk on disability education with focus on deaf education. We have also participated in online campaign using the hashtag, the Need for Education campaign. So when you go online and you just type in hashtag, the Need for Education campaigns, you are going to be seeing lots of our projects that we've done so far. So we've equally, the team members have for the past 17 months promoted education by providing educational learning materials, school items, and furniture for children. We have supported about 150 children in the Ifako or Oloshoki area of Lagos with school items, school bags, learning material, books, whichever materials that we feel that they are in need, or whichever material the school seeks for us to provide for them, we raise funds to provide these materials. So in this slide, you're going to be seeing pictures of our awareness. We have our yearly awareness work where we educate the society, we speak to women, we speak to mothers, especially for the need for their children to be educated. We equally try to create awareness of sign language for deaf communication. You know, having a deaf child, we see parents having a deaf child and they can't communicate. So we seek for sign language awareness, they could learn sign language at affordable rates. Partner with sign language institutions to train our candidates or our participants, people that are parents that are interested, even teachers. So we run some classes for teachers too, you know, that we are trying to have an inclusive school whereby children that are deaf will not be segregated from children that are hearing. So when we have teachers that can teach while using sign language, these children will be able to learn. That's why we are pushing for sign language to be a part of our normal school curriculum. So we have our confident coaching chart. Yes, we believe each child can achieve more by being confident of themselves. So earlier last year, we realized that the major problem children with disability is they have low self-esteem. So they can't stand with their peers. They feel they feel they're not worthy enough, you know, and they are not being motivated for greatness. So we have this coaching section where we speak with kids. We encourage them. We tell them they are different. That different doesn't mean they are not important. They are equally important. Try to motivate them by giving them examples of people or bringing in speakers that could motivate them, speakers with disability that have achieved a lot. So we have our youth development. So the team sponsored a 3-week e-learning digital acquisition for 55 youth with course outline consisting of mobile graphic designing, mobile photography, mobile cinematography, content creation, branding, YouTube creation and management. This the class admitted about 55%, but we only could graduate 36 candidates because, yes, along the line, some persons were not getting too involved with the activities. But then we make sure that the ones that participated, they learned a lot. You could see from testimonials, people were able to take back some of this learning and they were able to start making money out of it, start making a career out of it. So we have on my self-esteem series, like I have mentioned earlier, on my self-esteem series is a series where we share motivating stories of how far we've come from deflated self-worth as individuals to self-growth and to also accepting who we are. This is dedicated to everyone with self-doubt, inferiority complex, low self-esteem. We encourage persons with disability to share their story and motivate others to be great. Through this self-esteem, we encourage self-love and self-acceptance. Thereby, we are trying to accept who we are. We are blind, we are deaf, we can't change that, So we are accepting who we are, and then we are equally making progress to be great. So this is the end of my slide, and thank you everyone for listening. I just want you all to know that the work we do at the Old Place is that we are really not leaving any child behind. So we are preaching the word that a child with disability shouldn't be marginalized, shouldn't be segregated. A child with disability should be loved. A child with disability should be educated. A child with disability can do great things. It doesn't matter how differently able they are humans, and we believe that they could do great, given the right motivation. All we need to do is keep supporting disability education, keep pushing them for no one to be left behind, keep changing their narratives, keep it keep having a session whereby we are going to all have inclusive societies for all. Keep preaching, keep advocating for persons with disability. Thank you.
Thank you, Antia, for a wonderful presentation. The ideas you have put in are really amazing and worthy of appreciation. Over to you, Anusha, for sharing your insights and if you have any for our panelists.
So I really loved your presentation. Especially I love the On My Self-Esteem campaign that you have, because as a disabled individual myself, and I've worked with fellow disabled women and folks, non-binary and trans folks, I've seen that we lack a certain sense of self-efficacy, as we grow up. How adults build self-efficacy in children. Do this or do that around the house. Open that window, or do your laundry. Usually that sense of leadership is not instilled in you when you grow up with a disability, and I face that. But as I formed Revival Disability Community, I realized as I met uh, fellow folks who are disabled themselves. So I saw that same vision in your project, and I was really happy to especially see the screenshots on your youth development project, your photo and art project, those live WhatsApp testimonials. They were very heartwarming about how you helped these individuals realize themselves and empower themselves. I feel like it's especially important to have affirmative professionals in ISL, paying attention to deaf the learning style of deaf children. It's really important to have that in the classroom, because how do you inculcate deaf curriculum in your syllabus? How does a deaf child see themselves in your syllabus, see themselves represented? I think that is extremely important, and I think you have um, already started on that journey, working on that journey. Advising parents is another important thing. Advising non-disabled parents not to take up too much space in their disabled child's journey, to let the disabled child say their own narrative. That's also part of your On My Self-Esteem project. So I love your project. Um, uh, if I were to give you advice, um, you have already created, I call it a crip revolution. I call my project and other colleagues in the disability community a crip revolution. So I would like to congratulate you. Um, I would like to just say congratulations and just, yeah, go on doing what you're doing. I really love everything. Yes, thank you.
That is really sweet of you. Antia, if you have any comment in response to this. Antia, can you
Yes, please.
if you have any comments or if you have anything to say to our expert?
Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate that you like my project, though I hope to do more. I hope to do more. It seems like I've not even done enough, We are still, I'm still from a community where a child with disability is, you hear parents tell their child that is not disabled, oh, don't play with this child. There's something wrong with him. There's something wrong with her. You see them treat a child with disability as if they have some kind of ailment that can be passed on to their child. So I'm living in a community where if you are differently abled and you're sitting down somewhere, nobody wants to sit down with you. They feel it's contagious. Don't let this person get close to me. It's like something wrong with this person. So I'm really hoping, and thank God I have other youths that are coming up with disability, other advocates that are coming up. So we're having more disability advocates. I know with time we are not there yet, but with time we'll get to a part where our government will recognize that people with disability matters a lot. So thank you.
Yeah, there's a lot of otherization of especially disabled children, and we are hardly acknowledged in many of the fields. And it is true. Honestly, as a disability advocate, even I feel burnt out a lot of times because I feel like, okay, nobody really cares. Why am I doing what I'm doing, right? But I think what really encourages me to keep going is the community and the collective joy and labor, and most of all disability joy. So yeah, I look forward to like keep in touch with you and keep talking to you about our project.
Yes, I look forward to speaking with you. In fact, I hope you would like to feature on my self-esteem series where you're going to share your stories for people to read. So I'm really looking forward to getting in touch with you after now. I've gotten your details, so I'm going to reach out to
Yeah.
you. Thank you.
Well, looks like one of the objective of Y4SD of connecting people across the world has been accomplished now. So moving on with the session, we now leave the platform open for the second panelist, Venkatesh Naik.
Yeah, hi, hi everyone. Good evening. I hope you all are doing good and keeping safe at your places. So I'm Venkatesh Naik. I'm based in Hyderabad, India. So I myself is visually impaired and I work in a disability space. So hope my project will give you some insights and hoping for a best inputs and guidance from you all. So shall I share my screen, Priya?
Yes, yes.
Can you see the screen?
Not yet.
Okay. Can you see now?
Yes, we can see it now.
Yeah. So I work in a disability space. My sustainable goals are 4 and 10, which is education and no one left behind. So work around these two goals. And let's go to my personal story. Okay. Yeah, I am Venkatesh Nayak, as I mentioned. So I born in a very small tribal hamlet where there were no schools. Until today, there were we don't even have a Anganwadi center at the place where I born. So there like around 78 people lives over there, and the situation of the regular kids were worse, and the people like me, it's even worse. Sorry, I'm getting some disturbance.
Yeah, actually, one of the participants is unmuted. Abhishek, can you mute yourself?
Done.
Oh,
We
sorry.
can continue.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. I born in that such an hamlet, and my school days been really not good. That most of the schools refused, and going to school nearby towns like around 10 kilometers away, and they are not accessible for me. And so then till I don't know how my school days went and what did I study. And then I have explored myself and I went to the special schools where I have learned and developed the person who I am today. And then I believed and I had a confidence. We should have a safe spaces to do something, and which provides the support for the differently able people to achieve their goal. So that since then, dream is there, and I've been volunteering in different spaces. So then, and last year of my college in 2020 Jan, I have started this initiative called a DPWD. It's a Dikshoochi for persons with a disability with the like-minded fellow friends. So that's how DPWD has started. So next, what DPWD does? And we aim to provide a guidance to the visually impaired people, because there is a lack of guidance and awareness, which is it's a kind of a hindrance to achieve the dreams. So lack of people has so many people has their dreams and they wanted to do something, but because of the unaware of the schools and academical resources, they were not able to get into the proper schools. So in that area, we have started guiding them and mentoring them, and we do conduct. I'll go to the F3. So where we have been started with a career guidance. So where we usually give a career guidance to the visually impaired fellow friends to get into the different academic streams and institutions, because there were so many institutes refusers, giving admission because we don't have the resources and all that stuff to see. So we like sensitizing the both the sides, our fellow friends and the institutes and at large. And so that's how we encourage people to take up different courses like STEM education, commerce, and business management studies from a regular courses which we've been doing since decades or more than that. So that's how we have started this initiative with a small WhatsApp group. Yeah, so then we have started a series called a webinars. Like it's a community task where we usually bring a visually impaired individuals who are doing ultimate work and achieve something. So we bring them up, and we hosted a webinars where we invited a visually impaired friends, their families, peers, volunteers, so that we can create the awareness, we can give awareness and create a sensitize uh, towards the disability. So with that intention, we have started this series where we had webinars around public speaking, journaling, how can be a journalist with vision impairment, accessibility, web development, financial management, and stock marketing. So all this stuff we had webinars around this. And so later on, simultaneously, we've been doing upskilling programs where like you see in these pictures. So most of my pictures like works are the Zoom screen shares, because when I started in 2020 Jan, it's from March, we are in a lockdown and things were really not good. So we are hosting things virtual. It's a kind of uh, opportunity for me to hold a visually impaired people, because we spread across. It's highly impossible to get them at one place. Because of the virtual space, we could able to get many people, achieve many people, and that's how we have started giving a guidance. Like we differently able people comes from a different background and a different schools. We study in organizations or government schools which are they are in the regional languages. So we have a problem with the English and communication skills. So that's how we have started. It's a peer learning. So someone who is quite good at in English will teach his fellow friends. Like that's how we designed this program. And again, in that we have a two levels of program, which is called Empowered Communication Program, where we bring industry professionals who are working. And so they come and they teach our fellow friends about the job opportunities and what's needed for the job. It's all about selling one's personality in a market. I call it as getting a job is selling one's personality. Yeah, so for that, we give that kind of skill. And then mostly we depend on a government job. Most of the people are passionate about the government jobs. We provide a guidance, and we do train them with the reasoning and other competitive exam preparation, coaching and accessible material. And coachings are all in accessible format, because if I go to the regular institute where I face so many challenges with the accessible resources being applied. So we have created an accessible space for learning. So that's how this upskilling program goes. So here we have a virtual mentorship where we had a visually impaired students. It's a really quite interesting program, I can see. So where we brought up people from a diverse background who are working in a different sector. We have connected with the mentees to them. We have connected mentees to the mentors. The mentees who wants to get into some profession, so we have found a like-minded and person who are working in that particular field. So we are connected with them and they are guiding like what is need for the job and the life to grow in that particular space. The mentors in that space. So that's how this mentorship program is going, and it's still getting better day by day. So okay, this is one of my favorite one, and a unique one, I can say. It's a very being a crazy, but we have started this program called Live Technical Assistance, where it was a every October 15th we celebrate World Bike Cane Day. So on that day, we have started a very crazy program called the Live Technical Assistance, where we have created like virtual like a kind of a BPO, where we used to sit there, and our people, visually impaired fellow friends used to come there and they ask their grievances. Our fellow friends, those who are quite good at in that, they used to guide them getting into breakout rooms or whatever more they're comfortable. So that's how we solved some better cases. There were users from 10 years to 80 years fellows we had in this particular program, and it's very close to my heart and looking forward to the next programs. Uh, yeah, so other curricular activities. Be visually impaired person, it's not an ideal man and who doesn't sit at the home and in a corner of the room or a house. So we do do a lot of activities. We do play like how you people do, and we do go out. We do have a fun like you. So with that intention, we have had some recreational facility projects and programs where we had mental games like outdoor games, indoor games, and some mental games like Rubik's Cube and chess, and we even had sports like cricket and kabaddi and all that stuff. And so we encourage people to physically be strong and get explore these different spaces so that they can be motivated from by seeing different people and getting into different spaces. So this is quite interesting and going good. Yeah, yeah. Here we have some other curricular activities which we have done with the Telugu news channel. It's a Saksi. And Corona, we what we did in Corona, staying in different shelter houses, hostels, and at home, and our folks were speaking with the media. So yeah, so these are the achievements what we have achieved so far in this 20 months of our age, and there is a screenshot of activities what we have done, and this was the average attendance for our webinars or workshop what we have done and what we do. So this is our achievement, and with this, we realize that safe spaces. We have created a space where a visually impaired person who is passionate about helping his community can reach out to us, and he can take up a activity or work what he wants to. So we have opened that kind of forums, and apart from that, we do have a different forums like if people are uh, interested in stock markets, financial management, and that studies, journalism. We have a different forums, so they can learn and they can share their queries, and expert from that particular field can solve their grievances. So it's a peer learning forums we have opened in a different areas. uh, so okay, yeah, here I will come to my challenge. Yeah, expansion and sustaining the organizations. As I mentioned, I have started it in my last year of college, so I don't have any industry experience or knowledge about the market, how work. So we are facing difficulties in that. Yeah, and lack of dedicated volunteers to do our initiative further, because the mostly our works are depends on the volunteers. So when it comes to the preparing accessible audio or e-material, to writing our exams or doing assignment. So we have a lack of volunteers to take up these initiative in a better way. Yeah, so we have a challenges from a differently able people because they are not aware of, they're scared of things because with the different reasons, and their families are also not good supportive to the most of the differently able people, and they are not that encouraging because of lack of knowledge and awareness about the disability, and the coordination among the government agencies and the support and interest towards the differently able community or any community who is in need of something. So these are the challenges I see. So way forward. So my aim is to enable the self-reliance among the differently able community by providing skills which are needed to become a financially independent and self-sustained. So for that, what we want to do is we want to teach assistive tools and technology, and we give a career guidance. So my aim is to build the online and offline resource center, because there are so many organizations and people working in the area where there is a lack of transparency and space we are missing for doing something together, and keeping some audio materials or something at a place. So we want to create that space. It's our aim for a long time. So, okay, it's to increase the high school literacy rate, uh, so to 60%, because according to NSO survey, it says only 19% of the differently able people are educated here in India. They are getting into the colleges. So among the 2.21 is the differently able communities population in India, which is around 2.68 crores. So still only 19% of the people are getting into high school, college graduation. So we want to get more people into education space by 2030. So this is about ourselves and about our organizations. If you want to connect with us, just here we have a social media URL. Just get in touch with us. And yeah, thank you, Priya. I'm done with it.
Thank you, Venkatesh, for a lovely presentation. It was a real delight to listen to you and to the work you have been doing in this field. And over to you, Anusha, for sharing your insights.
I'm so a heart for Venkatesh, and I'm sorry I forgot to give one for Antia. A heart for you too. So it's really impressive. Especially impressive how you've managed to get professionals and disabled or differently abled folks together, and especially build a disabled leadership. It's especially important to make disabled folks self-reliant, to instill in them a sense of self-determination. Um, Firstly, I would like to start with your personal story. That's something which is very relatable to me. While I come from a place of privilege, um, from an urban city. I'm a physically disabled upper caste woman. Um, and it's really impressive coming from a low resource community. You have broken out and empowered yourself. You have, you know, given a platform for marginalized voices, especially by your webinars. Um, what I really love is how you manage to make up space, on on online or on TV. And even my initiative started a year ago. I was in my third year of college. Um, I really I really like your non-hierarchical method of mentorship, not making disabled folks feel like you're doing them a favor, but in turn working in collaboration with our fellow disabled folks. Um, I really relate to the digital advocacy bit because as disabled folks, I'm physically disabled and I'm susceptible to the pandemic, as a lot of the comorbid disabled population. And I feel like webinars, Zoom conversations, putting our voice out there like we are doing right now, has really helped us take up space online and has really made advocacy, activism accessible for us. Um, Blind leadership, you're working on that, and how you called your work a work in progress, right? It's becoming better day by day. That is something with which I relate to, how I'm getting more aware and becoming more and more of my disabled self, as is my community, day by day. Because it's like when we grow up in an ableist world, we are exposed to people who want us to be non-disabled, right? They want us to um, achieve being able-bodied. And I feel like through our initiatives, we've rebelled, dissented against that, against able-bodiedness, against um, for being our own disabled selves. I really love that about your initiative, I especially love the World White Cane Day, about making blind folks independent and um, having more confidence in themselves. Yeah. So, congratulations on all your work. It's just been a year and it's very impressive that you've already achieved so much. So, yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much, Anu. Your inputs and your positive words mean a lot, and I'm hoping to connect with you for your guidance, further, development. We may host you for some day.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Also, there's one thing, I don't regard myself as like an expert. I'm more here in a spirit of solidarity and collaboration. Um, and as I said, in the spirit of the Crip Revolution. So, yeah.
Yeah, we do. We have, even I am a just recent graduate, and I'm not expert in it, but I have a thoughts to do something, and that's how we have started and learning. And with the education and sensitization program, we can create more awareness. It's all about awareness. If you create a awareness, you'll be having safe and better spaces to go out and hang out. So that's what I believe, and hope we all create that space. We'll achieve that space one day.
Yes.
Yeah, thank
Yeah.
you.
Seeing you people connect more and better is what making me happy and elated at the moment. So, Anusha, over to you for your presentation.
Okay. All right. Um, I'll just share my screen. Yeah, is it visible?
Yeah, it's loading.
Okay,
It is visible.
okay. Yeah. So hi folks. I'm Anusha. You can call me Nook. My pronouns are they, she. My preferred pronouns are they, and I'm a woman with faded green hair and a black shirt which says my disabled body is a revolution. Beside me I have my crutch. um I In the background there's a rose colored curtains, and I'm wearing specs, and I'm fair skinned, and yeah, there's also a lamp in the background. So I would like to introduce you all to my baby, the Revival Disability Project. It's an affirmative Desi community of disabled and queer folks in India, and a magazine focusing on narratives of disability, queerness, and intersectional feminism. We aim to reclaim stories of disability in India through first person narratives. So, this is a note from me. I am the founder of Revival Disability Project. So there's a lot of personal story behind this project. As a woman with speech disabilities and as a person who was made to feel different, wherever she went, a very deep-seated fear set in. This fear manifested in various forms, such as not communicating in class, panicking when people told me that they couldn't understand what I was saying, and that I should perhaps repeat what I wanted to say. A certain non inclination to make new friends because I was fearful they wouldn't accept me for who I was. Sometimes I wouldn't talk for an entire day. Revival was and is clearly my salvation, and also a certain sense of reforming language through revival. We are often told to speak up or stand up, but not everyone can do so. In the true sense of the term, replacing our vocabulary with language that includes everyone, all abilities, is something we strive to do. How about we say, Communicate in whatever way you're comfortable and move your body in whichever way you desire. How about we begin to rethink our vocabulary? We're in the process of creating a much needed media toolkit for disability friendly language. Now, a mission statement. Um, um, a lot of our work is as you can see, it's the root of it is personal narratives and personal stories. It is often thought that disability and joy are mutually exclusive, and if you have a disability, you cannot be cheerful and optimistic. This can't be furthest from the truth. Like everyone else, we are multidimensional. The able bodied world has chosen to view disabled folks as people who rise above or overcome their trauma, and only then can they be hailed as an inspiration. In other words, we are told to be successful only when we overcome our disability, or like I said, when we become from disabled to non-disabled. Non-disabledness is seen as an achievement. But at Revival Disability Magazine, we believe that we are multidimensional. We are susceptible to all human emotions: rage, joy, pride, sadness, um, flaws, vulnerability, anger. As disabled women, when we have the agency to just be ourselves, our authentic selves, it brings us disabled joy. It reinstates the fact that our narratives were never made to comfort or inspire able bodied folks. Every day is a fight, a protest for us to prove ourselves to the world, that we are real people. We are deserving of all aspects of life. Disabled descent, another very strong theme, is all about finding power in our disability. Within a world that is so uncomfortable with disabled bodies, simply being, simply existing. We also believe that there is no disabled revolution without disabled joy and dissent. If we can't limp, wheel, or hop into the revolution without mobility aids, then it is no use. Revival has been home to 100 plus disabled and queer folks since 2020, and we want to share a few glimpses with you. So this is the central problem with which I started, with which I realized and started my initiative. Um, so as you can see here, I um I messaged Swiggy. Whenever I order from Swiggy or any food delivery service, um, sometimes when I'm having a bad day or I have depression, sometimes when I'm depressed or I'm having a bad day or I'm anxious, my speech tends to become a bit low and soft. And oftentimes the delivery order person can't understand me and there's a kind of a miscommunication. So I messaged Swiggy with this. I asked them what happens if I have a speech disability and I'm unable to talk to the delivery executive. And they replied that I should ask someone from my family or my friends to, talk for me. Now, this is a central problem. Um, this is a central problem in agency of disabled folks and the understanding that the non-disabled world has. They expect us to ask for help all the time. What if we want to do it ourselves? Why isn't there accessibility for us to do it ourselves? Accessibility is a basic right. Um, so why is this there? That's what I started this project with invisibility of disabled and marginalized voices. Um, So there's a certain invisibility in the air, an invisibility that creeps in every time authors use wrong terminology in books to describe disability. Invisibility that creeps in every time a teacher who refuses to understand the perspective of a disabled student and screams at them to catch up with the rest of the class and learn a course curriculum that conveniently excludes disability and is distinct in humane realities. This is something that Antia works with disabled children, and they're working at the inclusivity in classrooms. Yeah. So um, this is the central solution and a safe space that I created for myself and my community. Um, as disabled folks, we create our own community, our own chosen family, our own ways of how we want to interact with the world. The revival community serves as a testimony for disabled joy and community, a community of interdependence and self fulfillment. It's a community made by and for disabled folks. It has helped me and many others take up space in a digital world. There's something about saying, oh, my wheelchair does that thing too, or I tie a ribbon around my crutch too, as a sign of relatability. The thing about disabled folks, depending on non disabled folks, is that, and it's true in my case, even according to past records, in a non disabled ableist folks perceive helping disabled folks as either a burden or a favor. There is no middle ground or genuineness involved. In such moments, the tiny little joys and shelter that we get by meeting more people like us, those who have similar quirks, those who dance and move around in a disabled way too. There's something about seeing curved fingers, the same as you, or learning how to take power in a disabled walk, because each time a disabled adult walks confidently into a room, taking up space and feeling like they belong there, a disabled child in the same room looks up with wonder in their eyes and hopes to grow up to be that disabled adult one day. Um, so this is what we're working on. We're trying to not make disability seen as charity work. We're trying to create our own form of representation. We're trying not to pander to non-disabled folks or media that sees disability as a form of inspiration porn. Yeah. So, this is my team. We are the Crypt Revolution. Aishwarya, who helped me create this PPT, this presentation, is in the audience. And thank you so much, Aishwarya. This project is only possible with collective labor. Gauri, one of the members of Revival Disability Community, and one of my best friends is here too, a fellow disabled woman. So thank you so much for being here. We have Sam, Samidha, me, Samara, and Aishwarya. So this is some of our social media and communications. Our work is mainly situated online. Since during the pandemic, we have many chronically ill folks who can't venture out and carry out advocacy. So we mainly have a WhatsApp group, a Discord group, a Facebook group. So as you can see, it's mainly online. Um, so 10th April, this project started. We formed a WhatsApp group of disabled folks seeking support. Um, we formed the Instagram. Gradually, we developed um, 50 members as we took more and more digital space. We began weekly sharing circles on various topics such as disabled rest, disabled descent, disabled grief, taking up space within disability. Disabled grief is of utmost importance because many people do not realize that having a disability is going through trauma, and it's very important for mental health professionals to be disability affirmative, to realize the nuances of where where folks with disabilities are coming from. Um, we are folks with disabilities, but we are not all the same. We all belong on a spectrum. We are all from different social locations, of different castes, of different genders, of different abilities, of different races. So it's very important to understand that. By May, we reach about 400 followers on our Instagram ID and 100 members in our community. We begin Untitled Disability with Teach for India and have our first press release with the Hindu. Um, these are various interviews with several publications. We begin rebuilding and reimagining our team and workspace, how we are going to work online rather than offline, because most of our members are immunocompromised during a pandemic. We have regular sharing circles, followed to ease the anxiety of our community during the second wave. Now it's 500 plus. So we celebrate Cripplintine's Day. From Valentine's Day comes Cripplintine's Day, which is reimagining an accessible Valentine's Day. Reimagining several love stories, not only the heteronormative love story between two non-disabled lovers, but for example, between a fairy tale love story between a girl and a mobility aid, two queer disabled lovers eating rainbow colored ice cream and kissing each other with rainbow colored mouths. The love between two best friends who've created their own queer disabled utopia by finding solace and belonging in a new city. We reach 2K followers on our Instagram handle. We get featured in an international newsletter called Disability Debrief. Our Quint video reaches 1.2K likes. Um, and then fast forward to March 2021, we have a campaign called Revival in the City, which is a highly nuanced personal narrative of disabled queer women as they navigate and break through non-disabled mandates of sexuality, self-expression, sexual communication, agency to romance, playfulness, and casualness of desire as they play out in Indian cities. So we've often been told as disabled folks we don't know freedom. We can't be independent. But through revival in the city, through this campaign, we are trying to instill in disabled folks a kind of um, self-reliance and self-determination by disabled hacks. Simple disabled hacks around the house. How to how do you wake up in the morning when you're deaf? You have a deaf alarm, which is a vibrating alarm, which vibrates and has lights on it, so you see it, and when the bell rings, and if you can't hear it, you have bright lights, so stuff like that. When you're neurodivergent, how is your relationship with your neurodivergence and fashion? How does touch um, affect your senses? How does it make you see power in your disability? So that is what we work on. At Power in My Disability Project, we want to teach women, disabled women, how to love and care for themselves. We want to teach them self-care practices, ways in which they can be independent in their own way and thrive in their own way. April of 2021 onwards, we begin group sessions for disabled, queer, and DBA, Dalit, Bahujan, Adivasi communities, free of cost. We have licensed therapists and counselors on board who help us create an environment of collective grieving and healing and providing professional help. So this is how it works. Individuals reach out to us online or through word of mouth about joining our community. Sometimes we reach out to them. They contact us through Instagram or our website. Um, uh, we get weekly by other accounts, hence making us reach out to more people. Other disability activists, organizations mention us in the spirit of um, equality and solidarity and activism friendship. So that has also helped us greatly. We have a WhatsApp group where we talk and we have regular discussions. Any newcomer is wholeheartedly welcome. We train selected individuals to assume leadership roles in their own capacity and as content creators. We encourage them to facilitate meetings, webinars, and sharing circles. This is unpaid for now as we currently do not have funding. The community model grows, inculcating self efficacy and empowerment in individuals. Yeah, so this is just the visual. So, yeah, again, it's the visual of how our community is, how where we've been featured in Midday, Mumbai as a platform of disabled dissent. We have several community meetings. We had the community meeting on the left on disabled art. How do we create more accessible art festivals? This is where a consultation role comes in. Um, Other disabled folk come from the community, um, advise an organization on how to make your organization, your workplace, your festivals more accessible. We have a campaign on disabled rest, how important it is to rest, how a simple object such as a ball is of utmost importance in a woman who has chronic pain. So it's all about acknowledging and validating our life experiences. We have a campaign called Disabled Women Riot, where where women and folks who've gone through abuse, they speak out. We are collaborating with Blank Noise. They have a campaign called Akeli Awara Azad. So how through that, how do we rise out and speak out against the abusers anonymously in whichever capacity we are comfortable. So we have 200 plus community. We created a safe space on WhatsApp and Instagram. 1,000 plus sensitized, created awareness, held workshops, Instagram lives, training mixers. We have a lot of non-disabled allies too. Um, we have active dialogue with who have active dialogue with us. There's no hostility. This is a place for learning and unlearning. There's no shaming or cancel culture. It's all about get, uh, getting your curiosity out there in a non-offensive way and having an active dialogue. We have 20 plus dedicated volunteers working together and helping each other to support, to create a safe digital space. Disable leadership at its finest because we are creating our own creative space without any authority. We are free to do whatever we desire. We are free to move our disabled bodies in whichever way we desire, to work in whichever way we desire, to rest, recover, and work again. to have a very disability affirmative workspace. Over here, we unhide the disability. So this is just an e-commerce t-shirt which I'm wearing right now. My disabled body is a revolution. Hit 50 sales last month. I'm very proud of this. Ever since we released it in April of 2021, we have another short called Being Disabled, Queer, and Fabulous. So this is the various places, publications where we've taken up space on the Hindu, Feminism in India, the Quinn, the Print, YP Foundation, Hindustan Times, and Midday. So this is an example, a case study of Samitha, who's a chronically ill woman. She recognized.
Sorry for interfering, Anusha, but it's a request if you could conclude.
Okay. Yeah. So when asked if a law organization was consulting them on their ideal workspace, what would they tell them? So this is like a sick leave without questioning their capabilities or their illness, extended mutually agreed upon deadlines, accessible computer softwares. So all of this. Um, then we, why do we unhide the disability? So some of us walk, limp, wheel, or hop into the revolution. Each form of movement or non-movement is valid. Each form of revolution should be acknowledged. We unhide the disability because our entire lives we've been told to hide our disability and allowed us and been told to express it only on others' terms. Revival and the Crip Revolution, a form of disabled descent. So this is just testimonials and revival. Ability is not beyond disability. We do not erase disabled experiences. There's no policing of identities. We define and design our own identities and our own narratives. There's again a testimony by Hema, a person with invisible disability, on how revival gave her a space, a place to call home. There's a testimony by me on intersectionality and queerness, on the importance of small communities, small online communities like Revival, how interdependence works, how there's no shame in asking for help, and yeah, how it helped me create an accessible feminist future to look forward to. That's my crutch. So these are links, and we hate buttons, and your ableist relative who thinks disability is just a state of mind, because no, it's not. Disability is a part of us, a part of our lives, very much a part of our lives, and we are proud to be disabled. So this is just why should we join the community? To commemorate love, to boost motivation, to reflect inner values, to share. How do we join the community? You can find us on WhatsApp, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. Introducing yourself with how you would like to be addressed as. It's our desire whether to be called disabled or person with a disability or differently abled. Whenever folks address us, they should first ask. They should not assume. They should ask what we would like to be addressed as, what our pronouns are, whether we use tone indicators, with what language do we speak, how we are comfortable in communicating, whether we are comfortable in talking verbally in Zoom chats or writing in the text box. So yeah, be respectful and sensitive, and sit back and talk and join the Crip Revolution. This is just a visual of a wheelchair with butterfly wings, and I thought it's really pertinent to our work. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Anusha. It is so nice to see your work and how all the specially abled people are a part of your community and the work you're doing. And you know what makes me more proud is that we come from the same college. I am studying in LSR and you have graduated from LSR. So
Yeah.
really immense pleasure.
Thank you so much.
So I see we have actually exceeded the time limit, and I'll take a moment to congratulate you people, Anusha, Venkatesh, and Antia, and thank you for sharing your work, your experiences, and your insights about the SDG, about your work, how we can improve the world, and how we can make the world a better place for you all. And to all the people who have joined us today, thank you for joining. And this is where we conclude. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. I really had a good time. I'm sorry, I went off for some second. My network was bad. I don't know if it was trying to reach me. If it was trying to reach me, so my network was bad. And to Anusha, thank you so much for your opportunity. I don't think it was you. I'm not sure. Anusha? Okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure, like just listening to your initiatives and like there are people in the world that are working at leaving no one behind. And thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Have a good weekend.